Let's dive right into this explainer where we're unpacking a really passionate and honestly quite polarizing review by YouTuber Manpreet from the channel Indian Booktuber. She takes a super uncompromising look at Rhonda Byrne's self-help sequel, The Power. So, whether you're a diehard fan of manifestation or a total skeptic, we're going to break down exactly how Manpreet defends and dissects this deeply controversial book.
Our explainer covers 4 key areas today. First, beyond the secret. Second, addressing the critics. Third, inside the power. And fourth, the final verdict. Let's get right to it.
Part 1. Beyond the Secret. The Legacy Continues. To really understand The Power, we first have to figure out exactly where it fits into the broader self-help universe. You see, Rhonda Byrne's previous book, The Secret, wasn't just a hit, it was an absolute global phenomenon. We're talking about roughly 10 million copies sold worldwide. It was literally a cultural moment that introduced the masses to the law of attraction. So The Power steps right into those giant footprints as its direct sequel, and it carries the weight of an incredibly large and eager audience.
Now, Manpreet draws a really sharp distinction between the 2 books. The Secret basically gives us the overarching theory, right? It explained what the law of attraction is and how it theoretically governs the universe. The Power, on the other hand, is focused strictly on the application. Manpreet describes it as a practical how-to log that skips the deep explanations entirely simply because, well, laying the groundwork was the first book's job.
That brings us to Part 2, addressing the critics, a polarized reception. Because despite that massive lineage, The Power faced a huge wave of heavy backlash, which our reviewer tackles head-on.
She points out that so many negative reviews just completely dismiss the book. Critics were literally calling it a stupid book that lacks anything genuinely powerful, mainly because the author doesn't spend time trying to mathematically prove her concepts. That minimal proof really left skeptics feeling frustrated and shortchanged.
But Manpreet fires right back with a super passionate quote from her own review. She argues that these critics are failing because they merely read the book instead of actually practicing what it preaches. In her view, picking up an action guide and then refusing to take action? Well, that's what makes a reader foolish. She argues that if you aren't going to follow the steps, the book is of no use to you.
She actually introduces a pretty fascinating theory for all this harsh pushback too: pure jealousy. Yeah, Manpreet suggests that some of the negativity from other reviewers comes from the fact that The Power just spread everywhere like wildfire. It achieved massive success organically without relying on heavy author promotion, and she feels that ruffled more than a few feathers in the established reviewing community. So the crucial takeaway here is that this book simply wasn't written for unconvinced readers who are looking for scientific proof. Manpreet emphasizes that The Power is targeted directly at a demographic that already believes in the law of attraction. It's a dedicated log of actions for people who are already on board, definitely not a tool designed to convince skeptics to change their minds. All right, Part 3, Inside the Power, Core Concepts. Now that we know exactly who the book is for, let's explore the actual frameworks waiting inside its pages. Manpreet outlines the book's structure for us. It kicks off with The Path, which is basically a reintroduction to The Secret. Then it hits its main stride, The Power of Feelings. She highlights the book's claim that your feelings are incredibly powerful magnets. The core idea is that positive feelings literally attract success directly to you. So, if you're someone constantly burning out from chasing your goals, this framework totally flips the script, suggesting you can stop running and just draw those achievements in. It then rounds out with Power and Creation, detailing the proposed laws of the universe. The practical application of those universal laws is categorized into the keys to power, and these cover money, relationships, health, and life in general. Manpreet points out that these 4 pillars pretty much cover everything a person could possibly strive for in modern society, right? It frames the book as a comprehensive life improvement guide rather than just a narrow text on money or spirituality. Furthermore, Manpreet absolutely loves the physical layout of the book itself, specifically praising what are called the points of power. These are end-of-chapter summaries designed so that if you hit a low point, you don't have to reread the entire book. You can just jump straight to these bullet points for a quick refresher and a fast dose of motivation exactly when you need it most.
Which leads us to Part 4, the final verdict, reading self-help. Here we examine Manpreet's personal formula for extracting actual, tangible results from this material. She insists that any self-help book only works if you strictly follow 3 steps. Step 1, you literally have to unlearn everything you think you know. Step 2, you must accept the author as your teacher with total belief. And Step 3, you must actually apply the concepts daily.
It's a stark reminder for anyone who has a giant stack of self-help books on their nightstand. Without doing the real-world work, any guide is really just a pile of paper.
And she asserts that she isn't just speaking hypothetically here. She claims that by genuinely applying those exact steps, the power yielded incredible results for her personally. She lists significant transformations across her career, her business, her personal life, and her professional life. She says this framework completely changed the way she pursues her goals, serving as her absolute go-to tool whenever she needs to break out of a slump.
Concluding her analysis, Manpreet urgently recommends the book for anyone genuinely willing to use it for their own betterment. She challenges her viewers to read the book, apply the laws, and then return to the comments section to discuss their real-world results. She firmly believes that discussing a book should be a vibrant two-way conversation, taking the concepts off the page and putting them right into active dialogue.
Which brings us to the ultimate question leaving this explainer. We've seen the massive legacy, the intense pushback from critics, and Manpreet's fierce defense of the book's practical magic. So, are you ready to drop your preconceptions, unlearn your old habits, and test these concepts for yourself? It's a bold challenge for sure. Let's see who takes it.